on you. This is disease. This is problem. And this is what Buddha calls suffering. That when the data plays, which is a memory replaying, as Dr. Vitale pointed out, you're stuck. I don't care what you say, it's trash. But now, if you're willing to let go...
Can I add one thing?
Oh, please be my guest.
So, he said, I have a problem, but he heard that he can call it, I have a situation. I'm writing it down so that you can visibly see that this is just data reframed with a different word in it. It is still a program, it is still trash, it is still something that can be erased. It's exactly the same thing, you just used a different word on it, but that word was also taking you away from zero.
Taking you away from yourself. Pure in heart. You have given up. Don't go away, Dr. Vitale. Come. So you have given up yourself, pure in heart, for trash. Trash. I mean, can you imagine giving up a pure soul for trash? And this is what we do moment to moment. We're trashy. Yeah. For example, some of you have this notion that you're a healer. It's trash. Some of you who think you're coaches, it's trash. Because if you're hanging around somebody who needs to be coached, all you have to do is erase the stuff and the person will be fine. Because if you are zero, everybody else will be at zero. So when I work with people who come and see me over the years, I try not to. But when they call or get an email that slips in, I don't know how they got, I say to myself, what's going on in me that they should be giving me a litany, data, trash of their problems. And so now as I begin to erase the trash in me, it gets erased in them, and they never email me again. Now, the only thing I don't know, and Mr. Joe Vitale will have to tell me, is how to build them. Yeah. So please be clear, like he's pointed out, you are zero. This is called freedom. Freedom is no trash. Clarity. Peace beyond all understanding. This is who we are.
He and I were on a radio show together, and we were getting a lot of call-in questions, and we were getting a lot of call-in comments. Before my book came out, our book, no, this wasn't mine, but Zero Limits is by both of us, he said, Joe, when the book comes out, the shit is going to hit the fan. And I said, no problem, I can handle it, until the first shit hit the fan. And I didn't handle it very well. I had a whole lot of cleaning to do within me. We ended up doing a radio show together that he probably remembers. And he interrupted the host and he said, do you have any really nasty questions?
We were having all kinds of sweet kind of questions. And I said to him, let's go after a nasty one, you know?
And so the announcer said, somebody by the name of Chris has this really strong question. And I was bracing myself to hear it. It's like, I wasn't inviting this. I don't want to hear this. I'm doing just fine in my little bubble. So don't bring it in. He was inviting it. Why was he inviting it? First, opportunity for clearing. But he said something that was a real eye-opener for me. He said that the person asking the question isn't asking the question. It is a data, it is a program, it is a belief, whatever you want to call that, was being spoken through the person.
This is why therapy never works. Because, as he's pointing out, when somebody says something to you, it's not about that. But we who have been trained, including parents, we keep thinking that's what they're saying. But you never hear what they say because you're always reacting. You're only hearing your reaction to what they're saying. Yeah.
Just having that awareness that the person asking the question wasn't trying to dagger me on purpose. What they were really doing was expressing what I sometimes called a virus of the mind, that they had actually just picked up a virus. and that they were expressing it, much like somebody picks up a cold, that they weren't doing it intentionally, that they had no responsibility for it because they were unaware of it, but because it was coming through that, instead of seeing a person named Chris in this case who was asking a question, I now heard that data came through a person named Chris, and what I wanted to clean was the data. And I was recognizing the data because the data was in me.
Take it slowly now. Let's go through that one more time, because some of the people are going, eh? One more time.
What I'm looking for when anybody comes to me and they say something nice about that book or any of my work, or they say something negative, perceived as negative about that book or any other work, is I'm now looking at it's not the person telling me it, it's not you expressing it, that you actually have picked up a cold, a virus, a program. And these programs are in us, they're in the universe. This is one thing that he's depressed me with. He says there is an unimaginably huge amount of cleaning to do that we will actually never, ever get it done in this lifetime. And I was really looking for the easy button, push it, and everybody's cleaned, especially me first. But the point is that whatever I'm noticing in somebody else, I'm only noticing it in somebody else because it's in me. And so instead of trying to clean the other person, which isn't going to work because the thing is in me, I've noticed it. I have to clean within me. And I'm at the point that I'm doing it non-stop to the best of my ability. And I'll tell you how I do it once we get through this. But I wanted to go and reiterate it.
So, anybody unclear about what he said? Because if you give me a chance to say I can erase it, because it's trash. So anything that comes up in your mind, including a question, can be erased. Because once you leave this room, you're going to have questions that can be erased. If you don't get to erasing them, you're going to be stuck in the data. It's going to kill you. Example: there was a woman in Fort Collins. There was a woman in Fort Collins raised her hand, and she said to me, Dr. Hewlin, I did the cleaning, but I had a flat tire. And I go, what's the big deal? And as I was watching, here's what I was watching. My mind cleaning, because she wasn't saying what she was saying. I was watching it. I did my cleaning. As I was watching the cleaning, here's what I heard. So when you clean, here's what you're going to hear. It's called inspiration. You got to be at zero. You got to give it up, the trash. So now here's this is called inspiration. It's called inspire. What the Hawaiians call ha. The ha is equivalent to inspire. And if you take this word and you attach it to the word alo, ha. Do you know what aloha means? Oh, that's funny. Welcome. Trash. Tell me what aloha really means.
To be in the presence of God.
Yes, to be in the presence of God. So if I say aloha to my friend here, I'm acknowledging I'm in the presence of God and I shouldn't be screwing around. Because if I'm angry with him, it's being angry against God. So just want to share that with you, just as a side note. So alo means to be in the presence of God. Okay, so now inspiration comes in and I hear. Here's what's going on. So as I was doing my cleaning, I heard divinity say to me, 3 generations from now, her great, 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 great grandson would have been born retarded. Can I say that again? So doing the cleaning, the opportunity to clean, prevented a memory from producing in her family a retarded person. Let's kind of hang around with that a little bit. Maybe you kind of pay attention. You ought to do more cleaning, be more at zero. I mean, really. In in Charlotte, I was doing a class in Charlotte. A woman says, I only have a small question, Dr. Ulan. Bullshit stuff. So the question comes up and I'm cleaning. I'm watching my mind, seeing what's coming up. I'm cleaning and I'm watching it, and I hear the divinity say to me, ask her a question just to see what she will do. And I went, blah, 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 and up she came. And what I saw, and I did the cleaning with, lunchtime, I went to lunch, and she came to see me, because I already know what the problem was. She had suicide. That's what I was working on. All the women in this world who feel down, dislocated, unloved, uncared for, commit suicide. In Japan, where I just came from, 30,000 people a year commit suicide. Yeah, but don't you commit suicide in your mind? Yeah, you do it all the time. So the point is, what Joe Vitale and I are pointing out, you better get to zero. Don't try to figure anything out. If you have a question in this room, that's great. Outside of this room, if you hang around with questions, it's going to take you down. It's going to take you down. I'm only here to say hello. We're going to handle questions in this room, but I want the questions will take you more. Yes?
I've heard some people just say...
You can stand up so I can see you, please.
I've heard some people just repeat, I'm sorry.
No, you didn't hear that. You heard yourself hearing them repeat.
Well, I read it in an email.
No, you didn't read it in an email. You read your reaction to it. That's why I'm saying you can be cleaning with this stuff instead of hanging around with it. When you say, Joe Vitale said, you didn't say that. It's your thoughts are saying that's what Joe Vitale said. You never heard it straight. You'll never hear it straight. The data will never give you the answer. Never, never, never.
My question was, it didn't seem to be addressing anything in particular, and I'm wondering if the cleaning should have a subject.
Why is that?
Huh?
Why is that?
I don't know. I'm asking.
I don't